I want to do a cost comparison and breakdown of these cabinets that I've just built, buying versus building. But first we need to establish a baseline of what I actually have the end product so that we can compare it fairly against the bought product. There are 5 of these upper cabinets. They have 2 doors each, shaker style doors. They are a standard 600 by 400 deep. There are 5 banks of drawers. They have, again, the shaker style drawer fronts on them, full extension drawer slides. They're 550mm deep and 600 wide. 3 of them have 5 drawers. One of them has 4 drawers because I made a mistake, and the other has 2 tool trays, which are basically drawers just without a front. There are also 2 of these kitchen bench tops. These are 26mm thick, standard 600mm deep. They were 2.2 meters long, and this is brown stained acacia as far as I'm aware. So that establishes what the actual end product is. So we need to find something that is vaguely similar that you could buy off the shelf that would be a comparable product to compare prices with. I'm going to go with Kaboodle. Here in Australia, we can get Kaboodle from Bunnings, which is our big box store. They are for kitchen cabinets, laundry cabinets, for workshop cabinets. You can pick and choose all the different parts. They are slightly below industry average pricing, a little bit cheaper than IKEA, but it is flat packed, so you can save a little bit of money there. Their slightly below industry pricing also reflects their slightly below industry quality, as they generally make use of cheaper quality material. Now, each of the Kaboodle uppers are, again, pretty standard dimensions for any upper, come in at $115. However, to get the shaker style doors, I think there's a vinyl wrap, so you can make your judgments there. For one set, that is 2 doors, that's $214. Then you need to add in the hinges, which come in at $13.50 a pair, which probably isn't too bad, but you may need to use their exact ones rather than a different cheaper brand because the door is going to be drilled for those. Then you need to add all of that up and multiply by 5. So that's the cabinet, the doors and the hinges, and you'll get to 1780 Australian dollars, which is a worry when this is the cheap part. It's really a lot of the money is sunk into the base cabinets. Now the base cabinets, again, are pretty standard size dimensions, so it's easy to find a direct comparison. However, I could only find a 3 drawer version, not a 5 drawer. Honestly, a 3 or 4 drawer cabinet makes a lot more sense in a kitchen environment. In a workshop environment like this, I have a lot of little things that need to be organized, and it's better not to stack them on top of each other. So we'll just use that one for comparison's sake. So it means technically a little bit cheaper as we're not having as many drawers, but I think it's a fair comparison. So the base cabinet with 3 drawers from Kaboodle comes in at $319. And once again, you need to buy drawer fronts on top of that. So going for the matching shaker style in green comes to just under $250. And that's for just one bank of drawers. You've then got to get the drawer slides. Well, you probably could use any brand. I don't actually know, and certainly the sales staff are going to push you to buy the Kaboodle stuff, and that'll come in at $31.50 a pair. And this is for just side mount drawer slides, which is really expensive. And again, you need to add the drawer fronts, the base cabinet, 3 of those drawer slides together, then multiply the whole lot by 5 to get to 3,304 Australian dollars. And then there are the bench tops, which I'm going to keep consistent between the 2 comparisons. They are $109 each. There's 2 of them, so it's at $218. There's also the handles or drawer pulls, I suppose, that I have on the doors and on the drawers. There'd be 25 on the Kaboodle version. These were about $3.50 each. They were very much the cheapest I could get. So that's about $80 something for the handles. So if you were to get the equivalent to what I have made, or closest I could find from Kaboodle, you'd be looking at about 5,400 Australian dollars. A little bit under that, but what's $20 between friends? That's a fair bit of money. Obviously for the cabinets that I've made, I don't have a per cabinet cost, but I do have the costs for all the materials I use. So that's what we'll go through now. Now these prices are what I paid at the time, and they don't include shipping. So prices have probably gone up. Some of the stuff I got was on sale, and shipping is going to be variable for wherever you are and whether you can just go pick it up in store. I don't drive, so I couldn't. So for this build, I used 10 sheets of melamine. That's the 16mm chipboard with the melamine coating on it. 2 sheets of MDF. One was 9mm, one was 16mm, two 3mm backing sheets, so they are MDF with melamine on one face, and that's it. And that all came to about $565. If I had switched to 18mm BCD pine plywood, that cost for the cabinets goes up to about $1,200. So it's a pretty big jump. Now on top of that, there is the $218 for the two bench tops to keep everything nice and fair between the two comparisons. So I've gone for reasonable quality. They're not top tier, but they're definitely not the bottom tier of all of the hardware. There's 22 drawer slides, they're full extension. I think the home brand of Trademaster, but I'm not entirely certain. Drawer slides, I'm actually very impressed with them. They're very smooth. There are 20 hinges for the 10 doors, 2 hinges per door. They have 110-degree full overlay hinges. There are 30 handles, 20 of them on the drawers and 10 of them on the doors. There was also the cabinet leveling feet and the confirmat screws. I had to buy them in a pack of 1,000 because that was the minimum quantity. All up, that came to about $530. So you can see by adding more or less drawers, you can really affect what that number is. And then there was the finished product. So there's the paint, the primer, and the 100 meters of ABS edge banding. And for that 100-meter roll, well, I probably should have got 250 meters of it because I'll be doing a bunch of cabinets inside, so I'll definitely need to order some more for when we do those cabinets. Those three items come to about $220. You could not buy paint, you could not edge band it, you could use cheaper edge banding and again get that number quite a bit lower, but I like how it looks, so I'm glad I did it. If you tally all of that up, the hardware, the materials and the finish, that comes to about 1,540 Australian dollars, which that's a much smaller number than the Kaboodle number, which was a big number. This is a little number. To be entirely fair, let's add on the cost of the tools that I bought specifically for this job. Now I'll get to reuse all of these tools and I'm planning on doing so over the cabinet project inside the house when we get to that sometime next year. But they're still expensive. Now there was the edge bander, which was very expensive for what it does, but I think it was worth it because it gave really nice results. They came in at about $720. I bought a new compressor for the HVLP, which turned out to be not quite HVLP, but that's a different matter. That set me back about $450. Now this regularly goes on sale between 40 and 60%, which brought it down to that number. I wouldn't pay more than what I paid for that particular compressor. There was also the confirmat drill bit, which, by the way, great drill bit. Still has held up, still drilling very clean holes in melamine, which is no easy feat when you've drilled probably 500 holes. And finally, the edge banding bit to trim all the edge banding at the router table. Those tools add up to about $1,260, bringing the total to about $2,800, which that is a big number. Well, it's a medium number. The Kaboodle number, my number, just the cabinets is quite a small number by comparison. You could argue that I should add in labor costs because, I mean, the Kaboodle stuff, you're paying for someone else to do it. Except you still need to construct it yourself as it is only a DIY kit. They've just cut it out and finished it for you. So let's say that it took me 50 hours to build all of this. It didn't, but it is hard to separate out the video time and other factors. So we'll call it 50 hours, which I think is pretty generous for these type of cabinets. We'll go for the standard cabinet maker rate in Victoria, Australia, which is about $35 an hour. And that adds on a labor cost of $1,750, which brings us up to about $4,500 and still almost $1,000 cheaper than buying the Kaboodle cabinet. So even if you were to add those costs on, which I don't have to, these work out pretty cheap and I'm very happy with them. So if you have the tools, you have a desire to make cabinets, and well, at least you don't absolutely hate making cabinets, making cabinets yourself is a lot cheaper than buying them, but obviously it's not for everybody, and I have a whole bunch of tools already that I use for other things because this is my hobby, and I don't value my own time because of a whole host of reasons. So you need to do those sums yourself, but this is how much it cost me, this is how much I saved. I'm happy with the results. Thanks for watching.